Okay, let's have a little quaint chat. Oh my god! I just noticed that the first time I'm wearing this dress, it has come apart at the seams. That's the last time I ever buy a dress on triple sale from ASOS. Anyway, as I've mentioned, recently I've become an avid reader this year, and I decided I'm going to start reviewing them every month, going over like what books I read that month, what I thought about them, etc. I'm starting late in February just because I just recently had this idea to do this on YouTube. But if you guys are curious what I read in January, follow me on TikTok. I did do a quick review of the books I read last month. My username is the same as my Instagram, Joanna_Spicer. Follow me on there. I've been like getting more active and having more fun on TikTok. So let's just hop right into it. This is the first book I read this month, and honestly, I hated it. I had really high hopes because I have heard so many great things about this author. Also, I really liked the cover. I just felt like very like smart reading this. That's like a big thing. Like when you feel like walking around, like a book you want to be seen reading. You know, there's books you don't want to be seen reading, and then there's books you do want to be seen reading, and this was one of them. But I hated it. I hated it. I literally couldn't wait to finish it. Luckily, it's not very long, so it wasn't too painful. But I just found myself so bored. It's beautifully written. The author is very clearly talented, but I think it's just ultimately not my style of book. I really like something very plot-based, and this was just a little bit more like whimsical. It's like get inside the mind of like an old lonely woman who's like losing her grip on reality, and like that's the whole thing. And I'm like, what's gonna happen? And it's like, nothing. And so I hated it. So the next one I read is Good Girl Gone Bad by Rihanna. Good Girl Bad Blood. I read the first book of this series called Good Girl's Guide to Murder last month, and I really enjoyed it. I do feel like this series skews a little bit young, and I don't know if it's technically a YA novel, but I don't tend to love them as much, although they are usually very entertaining to read. I just find them a little bit corny. I feel like, you know, it's just a little too young for me. But I really liked the character development. I really liked the story. I enjoyed this one more than the first. I thought the twists were a little bit better, but ultimately I feel like it just wasn't like the best mystery, because ultimately the twist, I don't want to give anything away, no spoilers, but I like a book, let me just say, I like a book where you can kind of try to piece it together on your own and then in the end see if you're right or not. This one you weren't able to do that because it kind of just like, at the end it was like, surprise, something you never even knew existed. And it's like, interesting. Yeah, that's my review. Another thriller. I really love thrillers, and this month, for some reason, I was just like one after the other. It's all I wanted to read. And so I read The Guest List. This one had really good reviews, and so it came highly recommended. And I really enjoyed it for the most part. I thought it took me a little bit to get into it at first because it does jump between narrators, and I find that a little, I kind of hate when authors do that. It does keep things interesting, but it takes me longer to get into the book because I'm like, okay, now I have to learn about this person and I have to care about this person, and it just kind of takes me out of it. And so I usually get like a quarter into the book before I'm like, okay, I know everybody, I feel like I've got them figured out, let's go. So that was a little bit different. The writing was really good though, and the setting, like the scene of the whole book, it takes place in like a private island in Ireland, and it's just kind of like spooky, and it just created some like nice imagery in my head. But the twist just fell a little bit flat for me, but all in all a good read, and hard to put down. I also read The Wife Between Us. If you are someone that likes a book with lots of twists, this is a book for you, because it was like twist, 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 like kind of ad nauseum, like just it was like, how many more twists can we give you? And they gave you a lot more. than you thought. It was a lot, and honestly only the first twist really got me. Like there was like a gasp, like and I was like, okay, here we go. And then the other twists I was like, okay. But this one was hard to put down. I thought good character development, some unreliable narration, which we love, but yeah, a little too long. Like it didn't need to be this long. They could have removed some of the twists, some of the details. Like I kind of just left the book with some instances being like, did they really need to tell me that? We could have knocked off 100 pages. I don't like when books are, and the same with movies. If you're gonna be long, you better make it worth it, you know? And I just don't feel like they did. This was probably the second most disliked book that I read this month. The Good Sister, I feel like it just wasn't a thriller. Like it's labeled as a thriller, it looks like a thriller, but ultimately it's just kind of like an entertaining narration of like this young woman's life. And then at the end it's like, but here's a twist, and then it becomes a thriller like in like the last 50 pages. And I just thought that was a little weird. I wish that was like kind of peppered throughout the book a little bit more. I'm being circled like a damn, like I'm prey. What's going on? I just didn't love it. I didn't love this book. Another thriller I didn't love, For Your Own Good. Again, a lot of jumping around to different characters, so it took me a while. Really short chapters, which I kind of love because I feel like I am flying through this book, even though you're like 20 chapters in and you've read 100 pages. You know, it still gives the illusion of like I'm plowing through this. So I do love a good short chapter, I'll give them that. But I just didn't think this book was that good. The reason is it didn't leave mystery. Like it just immediately tells you who's bad, who's doing what. Like it didn't leave any mystery. Like it's kind of like an omnipresent narration, so you're kind of seeing what everybody's doing, you're reading their minds, and it just didn't leave for any twists, you know? And I feel like that's half the fun. So it was like a compelling read, but if you're looking for something that's really gonna like blow your socks off. But something that absolutely did blow my socks off is Call Me By Your Name. This absolutely wrecked me for days. Like normally I've been like finishing a book and then I'll go right into the next one, and this one like I needed like a good few days because I was just like I can't, like I just couldn't do it. And I was really depressed the whole 24 hours after I finished this. Like truly, like Ted was like, are you okay, like do you need a moment? And I was like, please leave me alone, you like don't understand what I've been through. And then I immediately watched the movie. And now I watched the movie when it came out years ago and I loved it. And I don't usually like to do movie and then book. I like to do book and then movie. So a lot of the times if I've seen the movie, I won't read the book. But I had heard so many good things about it that I thought, you know what, it's been a long enough time, and it's not like it's a mystery or anything where anything's like ruined for me. I was like, I think I'll enjoy the book. Oh my god, it's better. And then I watched the movie again after I read the book, and it absolutely destroyed me. But here's the thing, the movie doesn't even touch the book, okay? The only thing that's great about the movie is that you got the soundtrack. And so we got Sufjan Stevens in my ear as I'm already having a hard time, and it's just like, it pushed me over the edge. And now I can't hear Sufjan's angelic voice without just immediately wanting to break down. This is a beautiful book. Just, that's all I can say. Okay, last but not least, I just finished this one last night, School for Good Mothers. Look how gorgeous this cover is. This is just a great cover. And I sadly agreed with what most people are saying about this book, in that the first half, you're like, whoa, page turner. You're like, I'm in this, where are we going? And then it just kind of became like repetitive, drawn out. Like I feel like this book could have been 100 pages less and still been a good read, and I wouldn't have gotten bored. But like at some point I was just like reading really fast because I was like, all right, where are we going? It's very disturbing. It's like very dystopian, a la like Handmaid's Tale, but the difference is that I was waiting for this one to really like take a turn and go from disturbing to like downright like gut-wrenching, and it never did. You know, it kind of just like scratched the surface. We were like, holy shit, like I can't believe this is happening. What's gonna happen next? And then it's like, not much. Not much. So I feel like that was a little disappointing. That I feel like they really could have done something here, but they didn't. But still was good read. I think it's still worth the read because it definitely has like a lot of like social commentary. I was like scrolling through the reviews and some people were like, I don't get what the message was, and I'm like, as if it couldn't have been more clear. Okay, clearly it's about the fact that like women especially are scrutinized as mothers way more than men, and they're held to these like impossible standards. It's just like, guys, use your brain. Anyway, those are all of the books I read. I would love some recommendations because TikTok lets me down time and again, because when I have like a bunch of 19-year-olds being like, I was absolutely wrecked by We Are Liars or We Were Liars, I was like ready to cry, and I instead was like, this is one of the worst books I ever read. So please give me some recos and let me know how you liked this format in this video, and like if you've read these books, if you're going to, what you thought about them, and what I should read next. Yeah, thanks for watching.